5, 4, 3,
You saved me! You saved me.
Gregory? I'm Gregory. You're not Gregory. What are you?
I'm Gregory.
Cassie! Get out of here! Run!
Cassie, can you hear me?
Gregory? Is that really you? I mean, really you?
I've been trying to reach you all night. I'm not at the Pizzaplex. Something's trying to trick you.
You're a bit late. This thing in the basement sounds just like you. How do I know this is you for real?
Is there another option? You need to get out of there now.
How?
My friend has access to the building map. Just follow instructions. Go right! It's right behind you! Keep going! Go right! Right! Hurry! Almost there! Cassie, it's me. I think I need to explain a few things. You were never supposed to go to the Pizzaplex. That thing in the sinkhole tricked you. I really don't know what it is, but it's been trapped down here a really long time. The M.X.E.S security program was designed to keep it hidden, but you shut down the security, and now it's free. It's not your fault. I know you did it for me, to save me, but we can't risk being followed. I'm sorry.
Gregory? No!
Cassie.
Hello everybody, I am TheSupportOne and welcome back to Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach into DLC called Rune. I know that even though I finished playing the game, the DLC content, there is the other ending that I've just discovered from the other sources via website, and I heard there's three ending. I think three endings that I need to explore into it. So the first ending is called the elevator ending that I've been through before from my first playthrough, where Cassie got herself trapped in an elevator upon falling right into the depth of the underground, or maybe it sound like a hell, into the darkness that sound like a hell. So yeah, and living what really happens to the fate of Cassie till Roxy mention her name, which means that will be an indication that she might be survived the fall right inside the elevator. I know that sounds twisted, and what can I say about that? So doesn't matter about that. So I discovered the first ending in my first playthrough from the very past, and now we're heading into exploration of the two endings that I need to see what's going on here. So let's get into it then, shall we?
Go right! It's right behind you! Keep going!
Alright guys,
Go right! Right!
I know the way I need to head to the good ending. I mean, the other ending! The other ending right here, and here we go.
I'm okay. I found a spot to hide.
Wait, what? Oh, that's Gregory and that Vanessa, and is this Freddy? Okay, so that is the other ending, and we just found a paradise where I found Gregory and Vanessa. I been teleported to there just to meet my Gregory back. Okay. Alright, so the other ending is called a claw. I don't know what's it called. A scooper ending, yeah, scooper ending, in which I am required to maybe start it over just to get the other ending. But my response to this is that I want to say a big no, because I can't risk going to reply this game, the DLC, because I don't want to get myself bored upon reaching out to the repetitive scenario, like encountering this strangest animatronics, just patrolling around the areas. Even a small DJ animatronics just trying to crawl me out of here, especially when this animatronic is trying to crawl me right behind it, trying to backstab me. So no, I must say no, because that's kind of boredom for me to feel upon replying this DLC just to get the other ending. And I know that there's a requirement which will be unlocked, the other ending, that I would like to take a look at it. So anyways, I would rather show you the video on how Cassie will lead to the other ending with interacting every requirements that unlocked the other ending called, you know, scuba ending. So anyways, let's get into it then, shall we? Okay, so here's the video that I would rather show you on how to get the other ending called scuba ending. So we'll see how Cassie will lead into how she interact with the requirements that unlocks the secret ending, the other ending, rather than heading into the normal ending. Right in the elevator, that turns out to be, I don't know, maybe a twist or bad ending or a good ending or I don't know. So anyways, let's have a look at that, shall we? Okay, so chapter 1, you need to find a hidden camera. Okay. Excuse me. Wait. So that's the hidden camera. Wait. But how am I supposed to search the hidden camera right inside the camera feed system?
Cassie, where are you?
Gregory, I made it to catwalks. You said I could get to the raceway from here?
Hold on. The schematics say there's a way to redirect the gondolas to the maintenance room. Deactivate the security node, then use the track controller.
Gregory, you there?
Alright, so
Of course not. So, security node and tracking controller.
and maybe head into
Whatever
another
that is.
camera feed system just to discover a camera, a hidden camera right inside the system. So, but how am I supposed to discover inside the system? Okay. Blah blah blah. Okay, descend the bridge. I'm gonna roll. Oh, okay. Gotta volume up. So where?
Cassie, you really need to get back on the theater gondola and go to the maintenance room.
Alright. So there will be another one which... Oh, I have to zoom out the minimap so I can discover that there's a hidden camera in it. I see about that. Okay. I have to zoom out the minimap so I can discover that there's a hidden camera in it. Oh, look at that. Yep. Gregory and Cassie being together and forever and she tears. Oh my god. Yeah, this is the... Yep, that's the probably the point. Zoom out. Ah, okay. There's a hidden camera which shows what kind of path that I have seen in everything about this. Chapter 7, okay. I see about that. And another camera feed system is right at the bowling where I got myself annoyed upon encountering with this, you know, encountering with this small DJ animatronics. I just got died there at like many times over because when I create distraction, he just crossed right onto me instead of going the other way. I remember that one. This is a very annoying part I ever been through, you know, in my first playthrough.
What are those things? They look like the DJ.
Yeah, isn't it? So, okay. Okay, right behind the platform of the bowling area. So, another one here. Wait, is this a requirement to get there? Maybe I'm gonna skip it. Blah 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 blah. Oh, come on.
Well, it looks like someone poured concrete over the door. How am I supposed to get rid of concrete?
Well, with that, you know, the forklift that may ram over the brakes, so... Yeah, we know that one.
You're out of here!
Yeah. Alright,
Just
gonna wait till it started. The chase. Yep, here he is. You gotta run now, mate. Yep. And that looks horrific scenes. I mean, that setting looks kind of terrifying, to be honest.
It's right behind you!
This round of stamina, that makes me feel panic when my first playthrough.
Keep going!
Alright, after I interacted with lots of
Go right!
requirements, what would it be happen anyways? Just run! That freaks just comes just. Oh, okay, that's a door opening right there, right on the left. I have to unlock every requirement in every section of the DLC so I can just unlock the doors just to get myself past into it. That will lead myself into getting a, you know, the other ending. So yeah, press the button, and what else next? Hello? Whoa! Okay. Oh. Oh. So that's a scoper. Okay. What happened anyways? Oh. And he's dead. And that's it? Oh, that's it. Is there any post-credit scenes about this? Secret? What is this? Nah. Wait. Is this the same thing that I've been there before? Yeah. Yeah, that is. Okay. Anyways, that's the scoper ending that I would rather show you. And I am not planning to replay this game all again because after my first playthrough, it makes me feeling jump out many times over when I encounter that creepy and deadly animatronics trying to scare me out of it. So, Jesus. And also the repetitive scenario that I am not going to through with it, especially with that, you know, the the Monty Golf right on the upper platform, and as well as the you know, the bowling area that makes me feel repetitive that I have to encounter and get rid of these airy troops of small DJ animatronics. So I can't do that. I'm not gonna replay it. No way. I can't risk for it. So anyways, that's the scuba ending. That seems to be much more intriguing and not sure about that. So that's the scuba ending. So anyways, that's it for Five Nights at Freddy Security Breach DLC run, where I have discovered every ending in this scenario. I know that makes me feel intrigued and feeling concerned on what really happens to the characters, especially Gregory and Cassie, and even Gregory's friend Glamrock Freddy. I feel curious and concerned over this character on what really happens to their fates. So that's the ending. Alright, so let's talk about the first ending, called normal ending, otherwise known as, informally known as the elevator ending, which turns out to be an ordinary ending where Cassie just ran into the elevator just to get herself safe upon ascend the elevator onto the surface, but unfortunately Gregory just cut off the power, which makes Cassie fall down along with the elevator, just got fall down into the depths of the underground, or maybe hellish. So I don't know what will happen to Gregory, because he says there won't be risk followed by the strange animatronics, officially known as Mimic, and presumably possessed by Mr. Afton, I guess. So yeah. Well, talk about the Mimic animatronics. I assume it was possessed by Mr. Afton as he continues his schemes to murder the children discreetly. Ever since back from the beginning, that I've just learned from the very beginning of the story of the Five Nights at Freddy, starting in maybe Five Nights at Freddy 2 or Five Nights at Freddy 3. Five Nights at Freddy 1, maybe not so, because it's all about challenging game and lack of the narrative experience. it's all about challenging, and especially the 420 mode that you guys would like to try your best and do your best to beat it. So yeah, that animatronic strange, otherwise known as Mimic, I just released him because I just disable security nodes and the M.X.E.S mix, isn't it? Mix, the code name, which prevents him from escaping further right from the concealment, right beyond the underground. So yeah, situated right within at an abandoned pizzeria that I've seen it familiar back from, you know, Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. I haven't played the Help Wanted. I just seen Five Nights at Freddy 1, Five Nights at Freddy 2, 3, 4, and of course sister location. The rest, like 2017, I don't know what's it called, Pizzeria Simulator and Ultimate Nights, even Help Wanted. I haven't played this until I got myself back in the obsession of the Five Nights at Freddy franchise with the latest release called Security Breach, which transitions the gameplay from 3D point and click to 3D first person perspective genre that, you know, there used to be a remnants of Resident Evil 7, particularly in terms of its genre that has ever presented so far. So yeah. So talk about what am I saying about that? Yeah, at the very beginning, Cassie received a message from Gregory saying he wants Cassie to rescue him when he was struggled at any point in a now abandoned Pizzaplex, which seems to be ruined because it was taking a year after the events of Five Nights at Freddy Security Breach, where Gregory managed to escape from the Pizzaplex just for a single night he ever spent just to, you know, avoid detection from these deadly animatronics, and with the help of that Glamrock Freddy's. So yeah, I think both of them seems to be having known about the truth, a little truth about the missing children, tons of the missing children cases, and I believe that Gregory used to be the victim amongst this case. And same goes for Cassie. So I do assume that the message was sent by Gregory to Cassie to pay him a visit and rescue him from the Pizzaplex. If this turns out to be true, that Gregory is really a mimic who imitates the voice of Gregory, who lures Cassie into Pizzaplex to rescue him, not just Gregory but Mimic himself, who pretends to be Gregory. He wants Cassie to rescue him inevitably and discreetly. Then I must assume that this would be end up like, you know, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard intro, where Ethan's spouse, Mia Winters, sent a message, pretending herself just to send a message to Ethan that she wants her husband to pay him a visit in an abandoned house in Delhi and rescue her. But this wasn't all about her plan. It's all about evidence all along, just like, you know, just like the Mimic all along, just luring Cassie into rescuing Gregory, but not so, because it turns out to be a trap. And I know Gregory did contact her from all night just to warn her that he wasn't at the Pizzaplex. He must have been escaped, or maybe somewhere in maybe some kind of glitch dimensions that I've just seen it before from the other ending that I can't just, you know, whatever. Yeah. So based on the theories, do you think that Cassie will become hostile to Gregory right after the ending, after Gregory wants to cut down the power, prevent her along any rest of the animatronics, including the Mimic, from escaping the Pizzaplex just to free roaming right outside the Pizzaplex? So yeah, that must be his priority, or maybe it must be a trick that Mimic just tried to cut off the elevator. I don't know if it's Mimic or Gregory intentions just to cut off the power that prevents Cassie from escaping by ascending the lift onto the surface. So on top of the surface. So yeah, I'm not sure who did this anyway. Is it Gregory, who thinks that no one will ever leave the Pizzaplex because there are many horrible stuff that will never be able to get out of the Pizzaplex. And that's what I'm gonna know about that. Oh, and also let's talk about Roxy, who survived from the reboot, and turns out that when Cassie reboot Roxy just to get a final note and then disable her, turns out that she was never been disabled, but she must have been revived by having her program been reprogrammed into much more friendly oriented, just to recognize that Cassie used to be a long-time fan of Roxy when she often visited to the Pizzaplex for a long time. And I know I might be grateful to see how Roxy became much more friendly to Cassie, and Roxy did recognize her. She used to be a friend because Cassie is a long-time fan of Glamrock, Roxy, and that's how she became a fan, like whatever that is. Oh, and also I might be grateful to see how she rescued Cassie from encountering with a mimic who imitates the voice of Gregory, lured Cassie into rescuing him, but turns out it was a mimic, not a Gregory. And I was wondering where would Gregory go? Maybe in right outside Pizzaplex, or maybe the glitchy Paradise World that I've seen in the other endings. Like, I'm not sure about that. And yeah, so that's all about Roxy. And what can I say about that one? All right, so that's Roxy, and all she does is to protect, Cassie, just like Glamrock Freddy, who used to protect Gregory from the first base game. And that sounds curious of how it used to be a simple chemistry between two characters, between humans and the robots, animatronics. And now Cassie is not befriended with Roxy, in which Cassie being a long-time fan of Roxy when she often visited to Pizzaplex for a long time. I mean, for a long past. And yeah, that's what I would like to know about that, based on theory or maybe speculative on this complex story and lore or whatsoever it is in this game. So and also including the DLC content. And yeah, that's all I want to know about that one. So I did assume that M.X.E that has been built, designed to prevent him further from, trying to escape from the pizzeria, even Pizzaplex. So Gregory was never been at the Pizzaplex because he has been escaped from 1 year. But Cassie arrives at the Pizzaplex because of the message that was sent by Gregory, but not just Gregory, a mimic who pretends to be Gregory, that he wants Cassie to pick him up and rescue him when she learned that Gregory was stuck right inside the Pizzaplex and also within an abandoned pizzeria, and that must be all according to Mimic's plan. That is in a very discretion way. So I was a bit complicated to learn this ending, so not sure about that. That's the story I need to learn all about that for the whole story of Five Nights at Freddy over decades. So that's the normal ending, where I've learned that Gregory is never been at the Pizzaplex, must have been escaped, or maybe somewhere in the glitch dimension from the other ending that I've seen it before, and I will not discuss it any further. And as for Cassie, I feel worried about her anyways. I feel worried about what really happened to Cassie. And right at the end, Roxy, she survived an attack from the mimic, and she say Cassie, which means she might have been survived in an elevator, a lift, after she was prevented from escaping the pizzeria by ascending right onto the surface with the lift. And yeah, it looks like Cassie will be alright, since Roxy says Cassie, mention her name, just to ensure that she will be alright this time. I'm sure there will be maybe a potential upcoming DLC for this game, Five Nights at Freddy's Secret Witch, or maybe a sequel. I want to see more story of Cassie and even Gregory along with his friend Glamrock Freddy. I know they used to be a victim of the mixing children cases in the history of the the bite of 87 or bite of 89. So not sure about that. Oh, and just to be sure, I just hope Cassie will get herself along better with Gregory when they're reunited in the sequel or maybe potential upcoming DLC of this game. And I hope they won't. And I hope she won't be mad because she thinks Gregory is trying to play her intentionally, but he never meant to do so. He's trying to stop everyone else, including Cassie, from escaping the Pizzaplex. I just hope when they meet up each other for the first time, I just hope Cassie won't get herself mad. And as for Gregory, I hope he repented so much about what really happens to Cassie, filled with regressions he ever felt, and yeah. So anyways, that's what I want to know about what really happened to Cassie and what really happens when Cassie reunites with Gregory for the first time since that incident. And yeah, I just hope they will be alright upon reunions between both of them. So yeah. Alright guys, so that is the normal ending, right in the elevator ending, as informal. So yeah, that's how I ask about what am I saying about this one. So yeah, so that is an elevator ending that I need to learn all about that. Alright, so secondly, we talk about a hallucination ending where Cassie got herself teleported into the portal with equipping that, some kind of a Vanny mask and Vanny mask into somewhere else that seems to be kind of paradise, where this place that I've been seeing it before from the past endings of the Five Nights at Freddy's security breach, where Gregory spent together with Freddy right at the end when they satisfied with the quest right after settled with that burn trap, and of course the 3-star endings too, where they spent together with Vanessa and Freddy, now with being ahead. And now for the hallucination ending, is this some kind of dream or some kind of reality that Cassie had been into when she entered into the portal with equipping that Enea equipment, just because she wanted to find someone else's place. And as for Gregory says, we got a new place to hide, which means I'm not sure if it's a good ending or the bad ending or some kind of twist ending or whatever that is. So this place, we have seen it before from the past ending of Five Nights at Freddy Security Breach, from the burn trap ending and the 3-star ending when I beat Princess Quest 3 arcade game. And yeah, I wonder if this could be a safe place or not, or maybe it's some kind of another trap. And I do assume that a lot of fans saying that this turns out to be a twist ending, because this turns out to be a trap, and which means she had been stuck in the Pizzaplex for like forever, so she won't be hurt or seen again right after she entered into some kind of the glitch paradise world, something like that. And as you can see, there's Gregory, Vanessa, and a blue Freddy, in which I assume that the head Freddy had been transferred his program into the blue Freddy, small blue Freddy toys, and that's how he make his life better right through maybe a little renovation, or maybe upgrades. So yeah, talk about this ending. I'm not sure if this is gonna be ending of good or bad or whatever that is, or mysterious, because some of the people say she'd be stuck in the Pizzaplex when she entered into that some kind of glitch right through the portal. And I know this must be set up by maybe a glitch trap who appear in the Help Wanted, but I never knew about the glitch trap because I haven't played the Help Wanted, the game that used to be a prequel to Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. I know the storyline of of the help one is kind of intriguing, but I haven't seen it before. So so the glitch chef is the one who caused this kind of mysterious ending that I've seen like this before. Like, why am I saying this? When I enter into some kind of glitch paradise, seeing Gregory tagging along with Vanessa and the small blue Freddy toy, I believe that must have been taking place after the 3-star ending, because I set Vanessa free from being evil right after I beat the Princess Quest 3 that set her mind free to feel and explore, because she's been possessed into malicious. That must have been Mr. Afton all along. So that was based on the theories that I need to further know all about that. So I'm not sure how did she become a good. How did she turn into a good side, tagging together along with Gregory and Freddy right at the end of the 3-star ending. So not sure about that. So talk about the AR mode, the Vanny network. I believe it was built by maybe Mr. Afton or maybe someone else, and I do assume that the Rabby, the Rabby, the Phantom Vanny who appear as long as I'm wearing the AR mode for a long moment until the Vanny shows up just to trying to get rid of me, try to scare me out, because I believe that the Rabby, the Phantom Vanny, used to be a guardian of the M.X.E.S that kept the Mimic imprisoned from escaping the Pizzaplex. I do assume for that. Do I need to trust Gregory or maybe Rabby, who used to be a guardian of the M.X.E.S that kept Mimic imprisoned right beneath the underground? I mean, right within the pizzeria, an abandoned pizzeria. So yeah. So Vanny is named after Vanny, that used to be a main antagonist of the first base game of Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. I know she used to be a ghost, and talk about Vanny, VANNY, not I, at the last terms. It was assumed that it was Vanessa all along who was still possessed herself into a malicious one, because it was all about Mr. After all along. So yeah, sounds like a complicated thing that I need to learn about the difference between Vanny and Vanessa. So does it sound related? But I mean, back from the ending. Whatever. Oh, never mind about that. So talk about the ending of these hallucinations. What can I say about that? Anyways, yeah. So AR mode, hallucination ending, and of course the normal endings, as well as the truth reveal behind the mimic who imitates Gregory voice just to lure Cassie into rescuing him, but inevitably rescue Mimic from the imprisonment by disable the M.X.E and the security notes just to set him free to escape the Pizzaplex. But Gregory who made it in time to contact with Cassie and say, you're not going to escape because you can't bring risk followed by, Mimic for like forever, or else the Mimic just got itself out of Pizzaplex just to create another horrifying scenes ahead of future. And so that's how Gregory affirmed that no one ever leaves the abandoned Pizzaplex, including Cassie, just because he doesn't want to experience into another terrific scenario in the future. So that's how we affirm about that. Also, I want to talk a bit about the Glamrock Freddy who made himself appear in the DLC runes, and when Glamrock Freddy showed himself without a head in it upon awakening, Cassie raised her concern on what really happened to Freddy, and hence Freddy just turned himself against Cassie that has comes under the influence of Mr. Afton or the Mimic perhaps. So I'm not sure about that, on how on earth that Glamrock Freddy, the headless Glamrock Freddy just suddenly appeared in a DLC content anyways. I just had a comes to a curious about it, so yeah. On the other notes of the details that a hatch right on his center of the body just turned itself into a monstrous mouth that may devour on anyone else when Freddy just caught Cassie, and as you can see right through the monstrous mouth, I mean the hatch, that's a gift in it. I'm not sure what's the gift that contains in it, so I'm not sure about that. I am very curious about what brought a headless Freddy in the DLC content, and I do believe it was set maybe after the events of 3-star ending, where Gregory and Freddy just team up together to take down Vanny, and I believe the justice behind the schemes of, you know, the case of the mysterious murdering children back from the pizzeria set in 1987 or 1989, of informally known as part of 87 or part of 89. So yeah, and as you can see, want me to know how Freddy just got himself badly damaged upon encountering Vanny in the final stage. And yeah, Vanny just command every sentinels, the security sentinels, to disassemble Freddy because of their attempts to take down Vanny, just because they want to uplift the justice. And as for Gregory, he had his time given by Freddy attempts to do whatever he wants, just to, you know. So as for Gregory, he just make himself way into what could have been discovered to take down Vanny, and and he just found out that there's another Princess Quest. Turns out to be the third part in the arcade game, in which he just playing, going through for it until he reached onto the level of the glitch program, where, I mean, based on the theory that it set Vanessa free right in her mind from being a malicious that she comport for the one last time that I would that I want to think about it. So that I would like to think about it. So I'm not sure what comes to the difference between Vanny and Vanessa. So I thought it could be Vanny on her own, or maybe Vanny is being a Vanessa, based on the theory that I need to learn all about this. But it's kind of complex based on the theory. The detail is kind of complex anyways on the difference between Vanny and Vanessa. So and hence, what really happened to Freddy? Yeah, Freddy just got himself badly damaged, leaving his head decapitated, but still functional for the head of the Glamrock Freddy, as Gregory finds out that Freddy is still alive, grab his head, and going to exit the Pizzaplex together, having accompanied by Vanessa, who is now a free woman from being under the influence of maybe a glitch trap from Help Wanted, but I'm not sure about the background of the glitch trap, because I haven't been playing the Help Wanted before. So yeah, and that's how it earns the 3-star endings. Yeah, and also on the other side of the note, I just saw the sign says prototype right on the left foot or right foot. I do assume that it has to be a friendly oriented Glamrock Freddy from the first full game, or maybe other Freddy. I'm not sure if this could be true or not based on the theory, but that sounds complex. That makes me feeling obscure over this kind of truth. So I'm not sure if this could be a real Freddy from the first full game on the base game, or maybe the other one. So not sure about that one. Hallucination ending. I'm not sure if it is gonna be a good ending or bad ending or twist ending, because many people say this used to be a twist ending where she might have been stuck in the Pizzaplex when she entered into some kind of glitch paradise world right through the portal with equipping the AR mode and I'm not sure what it is. I might be complicated a bit about that, upon learning this scene, so upon learning this ending, so not sure about that. Alright, so that's his hallucination ending, and that's all I ask about that. So lastly, let's talk about the Scooper ending. The Scooper ending, where Cassie requires to interact with every requirements right inside the security feed system, and there's a hidden camera in it, which means it will unlock the path to the other ending called Scooper ending. And as you can see, there's a path that will lead you to the other ending right according to the what you've seen in the hidden camera view. So yeah, we'll talk about the Scooper ending. I know the Scooper has made a return since Five Nights at Freddy's sister location, where it was purposely used to terminate the animatronics, and even Mr. Afton's son's name Michael Afton, who was just a scoop operated by none other than nightmarish animatronics called M.X.E.S, which gathers small parts of destroyed animatronics into the body, and was presumably possessed by maybe Mr. Afton's late daughter, or maybe a deceased children's, but I'm not sure about that. Let's talk about the Scooper ending. I know it has made itself return from the Five Nights at Freddy sister location, and this scenes where the mimic just got himself scooped when Cassie just pushed a button and exterminate him for the greater good, and he got him slain just for that. And what happens to the ending right after setup with that? The mimic, the creepy animatronic, I'm not sure, maybe taking her chance to flee from the pizzeria and Pizzaplex, or maybe continue on her quest to search for Gregory, who is still trapped right inside the Pizzaplex. But I'm not sure where Gregory is. Maybe he's been trapped in a weird glitch paradise world that Cassie had been there in the hallucination ending, or maybe he had been just escaped right after the events of Five Nights at Freddy's Secret Beach, where he had been saddled with the Princess Quest 3 arcade game, and of course the bunch trap ending, where he prevented that son of a bitch from possessing Freddy into his body just because he wants to seek freedom and continue his scheme to succeed his malicious ambition. So yeah. So I'm not sure what would happen to Cassie afterward, but after having settled with that mimic, maybe she's getting herself mad because after she learned that Gregory isn't at the Pizzaplex because he had been fled, or maybe in somewhere else piece in a glitch paradise world, or not sure about that. That was a very complicated setup because it sounds complex. That sounds complex. Every ending of the Five Nights at Freddy, including the runes, the DLC, sounds complex, to be precise with that. So let's just talk about the origins of Mimic. And also, based on the theories and claims, I believe that Mr. Afton possesses Mimic was just kind of way off, because it turns out to be its own animatronics after having learned from the reading articles or other sources at the website just a few seconds ago. And I know, not just possessed, but having inspired by the motive that Mr. Afton had ever done, committed crimes of discreetly murdering children in the pizzeria back in the past, like Bite of 87 or Bite of 89. So when Mimic was built, let me tell you a story after I read the articles. You know, Advin, who used to be a technician for the maybe Pizzaplex or pizzeria, he built Mimic, maybe an animatronics built for his son, goes by the name of David, who looks boredom while his father is on the job that keeps him busy. and yeah, and hence they were getting better along upon playing it together, spending time together to play between Mimic and his son David. Things were getting better until bad things happened when his son David died in a car accident, and hence Advin just took the ultimate grief over the death of his son. And as for Mimic, I think he begins to irritate Advin, a father that really cruelly reminds him of his son's death, and hence he just beat that Mimic out of his frustrations, nuisance, or whatever that is, because he just imitates, I presume that he imitates Advin, the way he acted, the way he does acting in the same performance. So I know that looks kind of cruel when I heard that Advin just beat that Mimic just because of his irritating same act the way he did. So yeah, and also he was sent, and also the Mimic was sent by Advin to maybe Pizzaplex, just because I'm not sure what's going on. He was sent to Pizzaplex, giving him a task of maybe as a substitute for the band of the Glamrock animatronics, the band of Glamrock animatronics, or maybe used to be a cleaner. And after having learned of the experience from what he had been abusively assaulted by Advin, who goes irritated by his imitation ability, and hence he beat him like how he used to be abusive, he begins to maybe torture the crews of Pizzaplex, torture everyone else, the crews, or maybe animatronics, because he just seen what he have learned from the experience, and also particularly maybe Mr. Afton motives. So I'm not sure how he able to learn about this. It's all about his imitations, abilities, having learned the experience from what Advin just abusively assaulted him because of his frustrations over his imitations, abilities, and yeah. So after that kind of the incidents in the Pizzaplex where he murders some of the crews just sent the Mimic into the underground, kept in prison, having programmed by M.X.E.S, and kept him like eternal, like forever, just to keep him in prison because of his malicious act he had ever condoned. And so that's the background of what I've seen, the origins of the Mimic. Yeah. So who built the mixes? Is it Mr. Afton, or maybe based on the theory that Vanessa built it just to keep him in prison for too long, for just eternal life, or maybe just some crews or maybe founders of Pizzaplex? Not sure about that. Oh, and if you recognize the Candy Cadet who made himself return from the Pizzeria Simulator, I haven't played Pizzeria Simulator either because I'm not sure what's going on about the background. But so when you interact with the Candy Cadets, he tells you a story about a mother and a child encounter a wolf, and it turns out to be a foreshadowing story of, you know, how the crews just imprisoned Mimic in the underground right beneath the Pizzaplex. And does it sound related? Not sure about that. I know that sounds related, that foreshadows this kind of event, so yeah. So M.X.E.S was built by Vanessa. I didn't really realize about that, and talk about the origins of the Mimic was just what I've seen it, but I've never seen it before from maybe the comic sources of Five Nights at Freddy franchise. I haven't read any of these comics because I am yet to be a fan of Five Nights at Freddy. Just being premature to learn all about that. Oh, and talk about Mr. Afton. Mr. Afton just died as I ever learned from Pizzeria Simulators, from the another Five Nights at Freddy installment that I haven't been played neither. Same goes to Help Wanted and the Ultimate Costume Nights. So Mr. Afton died. Same goes to his son and maybe his late daughter. And how do I dismiss it out? How do I dismiss this thing out anyways? Based on the laws, climax, the storylines, maybe going on intense that appears in the scenes. Well, I'm not sure how do I become the fan of Five Nights at Freddy franchise anyways. Oh, and talking about how Mimic just discovered on the communication with Cassie, maybe he just foreseeing anything about that, because what he has seen about the presence of Gregory, who appeared in just a single night in a Pizzaplex back from the first full game, exploring around, finding a way out of the Pizzaplex after the midnights with the help of Glamrock Freddy. And I do assume that Burn Trap was built by him, based on a theory, with the parts of Mr. Afton's possessed parts, which turns out to be originated from maybe, what do I say, a spring trap, a bond trap, or not sure about it, in disguise. So that was a very complex story I ever heard, and for the comics, I haven't read about that neither. So what can I say about that? And how did he able to communicate Cassie by sending her a message just to rescue him inevitably because of his plan that goes accorded? So that sounds twisted, guys. That absolutely sounds twisted, and also the shocking, perhaps. So yeah, I know that sounds kind of hurtful when you interact with a scooper, and I'm not sure what really happens to Cassie right afterwards. And also, if Steelworld Studio looking forward to create a continuation story of Cassie and even Gregory and Freddy, and I might be appreciating it. I might be excited and feeling curious to see what's next for their own story on their adventures. So yeah, I'm pretty curious about that, because there used to be a very reasonably innocent children who appeared in the events of the Five Nights at Freddy events to a far future. And I know there used to be resonantly characterizations that capture my heart by the by the determinations or performance or whatever. I know there used to be a resonant characterization based on emotions, whatever. I know these characters capture my heart right through the resonant characterization they assessed, and I am feeling touched to see what is all about the story of Cassie and even Gregory and even Freddy. So yeah, that's why I got myself curious into exploring the story of the Five Nights at Freddy, and especially with the timeline, which is based on the experience of narrative. So yeah, start from the very beginning, where Mr. Afton just discreetly murdered the children back in the very beginning in the pizzeria, right after they celebrate the birthday or maybe celebration events that I just can't remember that, blah 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 blah. So screw Mr. Afton anyways. Alright, so what can I say about more endings of the Scooper endings? Cassie just not sure what she's up to right after having settled with the Mimic, and the Mimic just got slain. And what really happens to Gregory? What really happens to maybe Roxy? Maybe they're just fine about that, but just don't worry. So that's all for the Scooper ending that I would like to tell you about.
Am I really doing this? Ew. Gross. That should do it.
And that's the one thing I just missed out on my first playthrough, where Cassie fixed Chica with restoring the music box in it, and that indicates some kind of Easter egg, because that might be a good point on how Cassie seems kindly to restore the animatronics from the before, which was set in the base game, the Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, where Chica used to be an antagonist chasing down Gregory, and now she looks broken, malfunctioned because of Gregory's attempts to steal a music box from Chica, and yeah, that's what I heard about the story. I think Cassie might be a good person on attempting to befriend the animatronics, such as Roxy and Chica. And for Monty, well, too bad he just got killed himself. I mean, he just got killed in the electrocutions in the silver while diving, submerging under the water upon attempting to chase down Cassie, and yeah, that's too bad for Monty. In order to get the music box, you have to play the arcade that indicates the minigame, controls Chica, just to get past throughout every levels till you finish the game, complete the game, and the arcades will reward you the music box. That would give you a chance to repair Chica at any time, so yeah.
It looks like a speaker box.
Alright, so that's all for Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach DLC run into exploring the every ending of this game. And I'm not sure which ending is considered a canonical and which ending deserves the better one, the best one amongst the three endings in the DLC, and not sure about that. I was kind of a bit complicated to learn about the every endings, because every endings of the Five Nights at Freddy, not just only Ruins of Security Breach, but every endings of the Five Nights at Freddy are pretty much complex, and I'm not sure what to say about that. So I just want to feel hopeful that Steelwood Studio would give themselves a chance, opportunity to create, develop a continuation story of Gregory, Cassie, and even Freddy, and even Vanessa. I think Vanessa used to be a good side when she was free from being malicious after Gregory played the Princess Quest 3 arcade game that set her mind free from being malicious that she had been possessed into. And it was all about, it was all Mr. After along, so yeah. So what do you guys think about the ending? You may leave the comments, talk about what you have seen the ending from earlier, and I have no comment about that, so I have no comments because that sounds complicated upon seeing the every ending. So anyways, that's it for Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach DLC run into exploring every ending. And as always, thank you guys for watching. And I know the scuba ending that I couldn't get myself a chance to replay because I felt kind of lame. And I'm not gonna replay it because I felt lame, and I'm kind of tired and kind of nervous to replay it, going through the repetitive scenario throughout the DLC content, and probably I won't gonna replay for that. And I know I felt lame just to show you the video rather than that, because I just felt sad for it then. Anyways, that's it for Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach DLC run into exploring every ending of the DLC content. And thank you guys for watching, and I see you guys on to the other side of the adventures. And TheSupportOne signing off.